The most important thing is the quality. What I hope people will remember about my music is the quality. Sometimes I'm asked to compose something simple because the story is simple, but I always ensure that it's something that's unique.
Morricone is unbelievably prolific, between 450 and 500 film scores. No one's quite sure how many, actually. He's done so many. I mean, the moment The Good, the Bad and the Ugly begins, you know you're in for something different. You've got A-E-A-E-A, like a coyote howl in the desert. You've got the driving sound ding, of a horse. You know, grunts and anvils and bells and whip cracks and Fender Stratocaster guitars and a choir singing incomprehensible lyrics. You know, it's all put together in this very strange sort of arrangement and slightly anarchic sound. Then in comes the trumpet. And what you've got is an amazing classic score. I mean, most people are associated with one genre of film. He does the lot. In this country, he's rated and most famous for the scores he did for Sergio Leone's films. He slightly resents that association, that why is everyone going on about Westerns all the time, every time I come to England, and hates the phrase spaghetti Westerns because he thinks it's a huge put down and it's sort of beneath him in a way as a composer.
Mi disturba moltissimo.
I get really annoyed because even though only 8% of my film scores were for Westerns, most people only remember me for those films. So sometimes I'm quite disappointed because I've written for so many other types of films.
Western, Arancia Meccanica.
A Clockwork Orange. I really regret not making the music for that. Stanley Kubrick asked me to compose the music and I accepted. The problem was that Kubrick's decency made him phone Sergio Leone, who was mixing the film I'd just composed the music for, and I'd finished working on it. But Sergio Leone told him I was still busy with him, so Kubrick didn't ask me again. And I wasn't able to do A Clockwork Orange, a great regret, and Kubrick never called me back.
I think one of the key things that makes Morricone very individual, very unique in a way, I mean, you hear literally one bar of a Morricone soundtrack and you know it's him. He writes melodies like an Italian writes melodies. You know, he couldn't be French or Spanish or indeed American. He's absolutely 100% full-fat Italian. If you look at Gabriel's theme, you know, Gabriel being the Jeremy Irons character in The Mission, there's something about the way that melody kind of curls in on itself. It's densely embroidered as well as somehow very pure and forthright. Everything in a nutshell that Jeremy Irons' character is meant to be. They are completely joined at the hip, and that's genius.
The great moment in Once Upon a Time in America is when the children, a gang of street urchins, most of whom are Eastern European immigrants, wandering around the Lower East Side of New York, one of those great bridges in the background, you know, so it must be New York. And on the score, the panpipes. What have the panpipes got to do with Eastern Europe? Nothing at all. But somehow it works. It feels unusual. You expect it to be The Godfather, but these aren't Italians, they're Eastern Europeans, and somehow it creates that sort of oddness of this is an unusual ethnic background for a gangster film, and the music absolutely expresses that. certainly the most prolific film composer ever, possibly the most prolific modern composer. But when you confront him with this, he says, you know, compared to Bach, I'm underemployed. Bach used to produce a mass a week, 4 a month. I only produce 1 film score a month.
I use Bach as a brick to build a wonderful music score, just like an engineer uses different bricks to build a wonderful palace. I use Bach to build a music score that can give dignity to a film, because you must remember that my music is always at the service of a film and lies at its heart.
I love the fact that Morricone is still searching, he's still questing, he's still composing in his mid to late 80s now. He's someone who will carry on. I wouldn't be surprised if he was still writing the day he died.